Hey y'all, and welcome to the Ladywing Designs channel. My name is Zakia, and we are here for a craft with me video that will happen if it's the only thing I accomplish today. This is third time's seriously, hopefully, the charm. Yeah. So anyway, today is Tuesday, March the 10th. Happy, happy, happy birthday to Michelle Bindi Stitchy. And I feel like she has a couple birthday twins. I don't remember who they are, so yeah. Oops. But also, happy birthday to those people as well. So if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Anyway, today I am working on my anticipation socks. The pattern that I'm using is okay, sorry. Having to check stuff. So the pattern that I'm using is the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern from Erica Luter. And okay, sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I like the way my stitches are gonna look before I get past this point, because I'm not gonna be coming back. Okay, this is fine. So anyway, as I was saying, Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern by Erica Luter, who is Dreams in Fiber on Instagram. Don't worry, she'll be linked in the show notes, which you can find a link to in the description box below. And the yarn I'm using is from Dragon Horde yarn. Whoops. It's her Anticipation sock set, which is Rocky Horror Picture Show inspired, which is why I had to have it. I've actually had this for a while. She maybe dyed this in 2018 or 2017, because I started stitching in 2018. Okay, well maybe it was 2018. Anyway, it's been a couple years, so it's beyond time that I knit it up. But yeah, this project bag is my Slytherin sock bag from Crochet 1 2. Oops. Can see her, there we go. You can see her tag there. There won't be any screen notes anymore, so you know, if you miss something, just head to the show notes. Hopefully I will remember to link everything that I mentioned. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay on the screen here. And yeah, so this is what I'm working on today. I'm really in the mood to start some new socks, like very much in the mood to start some new socks. And I only have two of these needles for my socks in the size that I need in order to keep myself from constantly starting socks. Yeah. I think it's very interesting that I can binge on all the cross stitch patterns, or, you know, binge yarn, or I say binge, but like impulse buy, you know, all this stuff, and constantly be like, oh, I just can't stop buying it. But like, I've been able to keep myself from buying more sock needles, which is very interesting. And they're not crazy expensive. These are ChiaoGoo Twist Minis. So I don't have any over here, but the ChiaoGoo Twist needles are they're metal, the company's metal needles, and yeah, like that's what the ones that you can get kind of in more regular sizes are called their twist, and I have a set of those too, and I love them. So I highly recommend ChowGoo's. And yeah, so then they came out with these twist minis, which are smaller sizes for socks. So I use a US 00, which is a 1.75 millimeter. And the minis just have like even greater cords. I don't mind the cords on the regular twists, on ChowGoo needles, which are also red. But yeah, these mini cables are just amazing for socks. They're absolutely amazing. So, yeah, highly recommend ChowGoo's. No, I'm not sponsored or anything. I just really love them. And for anyone who's wondering, I know I did get a question. My wooden needles, if you ever see me using them, are Clover Takumis. You can find the exact set that I have at like box stores, Michael's or Joann's. I don't know if Hobby Lobby has them, just because I know they have like the Yarnology sets and stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm up to. Like I said, just really, really wanting some new socks on my needles. I already have the next colorway planned, which I showed to you guys in the last whip update, which, well, was number 1, but anyway. Yeah, so, okay, on the subject of socks, whoops, moving back in screen. Okay, I have to remember to knit over the bag. It'll be like the target. I have to stay over the target here. But anyway, so speaking of socks, I am taking part in the social sock knitting challenge. I know it's those 4 words. I'm not quite sure if that's the correct order that they're in. But oh no, I'm good. Okay, whoops. Everything's fine. Okay, trying to remember what I need to do at the same time. So, yeah, the social sock knitting challenge that is being hosted by at super_green_witch on Instagram. And I did make a post about it back in, I think that was back in February when it started. And I knit the toes of my socks and then sent them off. So go back a little bit on my Instagram feed and you should be able to find that post. It's fairly obvious. It's just like 2 toes of some socks. I was like holding up the number 2 and then was like, they can't see that. But anyway, it's just 2 sock toes in the picture. But yeah, so you start your socks, or rather you find your chain first, but you know, I'm explaining the chain. So you start your socks. In her example, she had said that you knit your sock toes, and I don't mind. I knit my socks both toe up and cuff down, so I just started mine as toe up, and I knit the toes of my socks, and then I sent them off to the first person in my chain. So we'll say, so if I'm, well, we'll just call this knitter A, right? So the first person in my chain is knitter A. I sent my socks off to her. All the people in my chain are female. And anyway, so I sent that. She adds on, there's a certain amount. And then after she like knits so much of her yarn in there, so she picks a yarn from her stash and adds it in, and then after she knits so much, she'll send it off to the second person, and they'll add their yarn in and just keep knitting. And we're only knitting tubes right now, so you know, you literally just get it, add in your yarn, knit like, I think it's 15 grams, and then you just stop and put in waste yarn again, and then the second person in my chain will send it to the third person. And once they put in their yarn and knit on it, then they will send it back to me, or them, both of the socks, back to me. And I'll put a cuff on it if there's not a cuff, which I'm not quite sure if there will be or not. But I'll put cuffs on them, and then I will cut in and do afterthought heels. And then we'll have a pair of socks. And yeah, I'm sure I'll post when I get them, and probably then again when I finish the heels and stuff on them. I'm so excited. So the second person in my chain, I'm talking about this because, well, one, because we're working on socks, but also earlier today, or maybe yesterday, the second person in my chain got a giant package because she's in quite a few chains. So you could start your own chain, you could join other people's chains. There was no limit unless you gave yourself a limit, which I did. I'm only in one person's chain, and I started my own chain because it seemed kind of weird to me. I was like, okay, I probably should also have my own pair of socks for this so that, I can totally remember it down the line. I'll have something physical to remind me of it. So, yeah, so I'm only in one sock chain, and I haven't added on to hers just yet. But the second person in my chain got the socks recently. She's in a few, so she got a lot of, I think she got 4. I think 4. Or maybe 3, and the toes that I saw were her socks. But regardless, she'll be adding her desired yarn onto my socks, and then she'll be sending them off to the third person. I think I had really great timing because yesterday I actually sent her the third person's address, so we're doing great. I'm super excited. The picture that she posted was black and white, which I think was super, super smart. So nobody's getting spoiled yet as to what yarns are in their socks, which I think is really great. So I'm excited to see, from what I could tell in the picture, the yarn that the first person in my chain added, the one that I sent my socks to, that I sent the toes to. So it looks like it's a dark color. So I'm really interested to see what it is. Oh, knitting friends. And coincidentally, well, not coincidentally, this was actually completely purposeful. The 3 people that are in my sock chain are also all a part of the International Virtual Knit Nights group. So that is a group of international knitters, or I should say crafters. I think we all, I'll venture to say that we all knit. Everyone that's on there knits. But a lot of us, most of us, do other things. So there's spinning that happens. I'm honestly a lot of the times cross stitching now. There are weavers on there. It's just a whole hodgepodge, and it's wonderful. And it's an international group, so there are people from all over, and it's just wonderful. And I've been a part of that group for 2 years now, 2 years and a couple months. So they are very much family. Like, we all very much consider each other family. But yeah, so I figured, since I heard about the sock knitting challenge on there, and like I already knew them, it was going to make it even more of a sentimental project for me and something that I would love. So I thought of 3 people that I would, love to have knit on some socks. And it was also honestly like, okay, who's participating in this? Because I also didn't know that either. So, yeah. And I'm super excited to see what they all put in there. Like I said, the first one's apparently a dark color. But like I said, the picture's black and white, so I can't tell like how dark of a color it is. So I'm actually the reason why it's so difficult for me to like stay on screen right now is because I'm looking at my actual knitting because the camera is at a slightly odd angle and I can't really like see my stitches if I look in the camera, so I have to look at what I'm doing, and sometimes that means I'm going to pull my knitting closer to me just naturally. Plus I'm like leaning over awkwardly, so okay, maybe if I sit up straight that'll help. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I know what I'm going to talk about next. We're actually going to switch to stitching. I took the time to think of what today's topic was going to be for people that want to comment. Last time the topic was what are you doing while you watch or listen? See, there we go again. I was totally off camera. It's too bad you guys can't like yell at me or something and I hear it. Yeah, so last time the topic was what are you doing while I am chatting away over here and knitting off screen. And always feel free, to answer that one. I think it's interesting. Some people put on floss tube in the background as they do chores or hang out as they stitch or knit or craft, whatever you're doing. So yeah, feel free to answer that one if you want. But I did actually have a different topic and I don't remember now. But anyway, the other thing that I was going to talk about was letters of fortune. So and this is, we're switching over to cross stitching now. So I'm gonna knit and we're gonna talk some cross stitch. So the Facebook group Semi-Sane Stitchers is hosting an event this month. They hosted it last year and they brought it back this year because everyone really, really loved it. It's called Letters of Fortune, so kind of a play off of Wheel of Fortune. It's a hangman style game, but it's more like I said, Wheel of Fortune, because there is no like hangman or anything that you're drawing up, but you guys get what I mean. You're guessing the phrase or guessing letters in order to guess the phrase. So you can't sign up for this anymore. The sign-ups have been closed for a while, but you had to sign up like before the beginning of the month. But yeah, so everyone gets their own phrase and you work at your own pace, so there's no like time limits for how fast you have to get your stitches done or anything, which is one reason why I really love this one, because there are no time limits, because I took a few days off from stitching. I just wasn't stitching and there's no penalty for that. Like, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, so I like that. And then like I said, everyone gets their own phrase. They have grouped the letters into kind of like, most frequent, not as frequent, seriously not as frequent, I don't know. And so the letters that are more frequent will not earn you quite as many stitches. I'm totally not explaining this well. I realize that. So, okay. So let me just take you through the process here. So I guess a letter, and then they actually have a post, which I think is a really good way to do it this time, because there's so many people and everything. I guess a letter. I go to the little announcement post and tell them, hey, I guessed the letter, ready for you guys to come check. And then they will come and tell me if that letter appears in my phrase. If so, how many times? If it doesn't, it's not there. So if the letter that you guessed does appear, there are the stitch values that I mentioned earlier, those three different categories, each have stitch values, and however many occurrences of that letter are in your puzzle, you multiply that by how many stitches it says for that letter, and that's how many stitches you do. So far I've just had like 600 total from 3 letters that are all worth 200, so not that bad. Yeah, and then if the letter that you guessed does not have any occurrences, then you just stitch 100 stitches as penalty, and then you go back and repeat the process. So I actually already know what my phrase is, but just like in normal Wheel of Fortune, I say normal where, it's money or something and not stitches, but you can, keep guessing and earn money, or you can just fill it in and solve it and, be done. So in this one, you are earning entries. That's how it works with all of Semi-Sane's events. They host drawings or a drawing, I'm not exactly sure, at the end of the year. And so all during the year, the events that they host and stuff, that's your way to earn entries into the drawing. Yeah, so I am totally more focused, especially last year I was more focused on the entry, or like on having fun than on earning all the entries and stuff. Especially because last year I ended up not really earning any because I dropped out of games early, but whatever. Yeah, it would be cool to earn entries this year, but I'm still definitely more progress focused with my projects, so we'll see. But I haven't been stitching in the last couple days. I don't think I have, really. I'm just not feeling it. Or rather, yesterday, because I did stitch on Sunday, but... okay, that's a purl, knit, knit, knit. Whoops. Okay. Supposed to purl this stitch. There we go. And back on the right track now. So, yeah, so this time I know my phrase. I think I'd figured out my phrase last year, actually, but then I stopped playing and, yeah, all of that. So, this year I do know my phrase. I have guessed, 2 extra letters than I guess I needed to solve, just to earn a couple more entries. And I think after I finish this set of stitches that I'm on, I'm going to guess the phrase. And so how you do that, when you get ready to guess the phrase, and I think it's whether you guess it correctly or not, but I'm not for certain. But however many letters you have left, you just do 50 stitches per letter for whatever you have left. So, yeah, I don't remember how many stitches I'll have left when I'm done, and my yarn's in a knot here. I don't remember, or not stitches, I don't remember how many letters I'll have left. But however many it is, it's a fairly decent stitch amount, because I don't know, maybe I have 6 letters left? 6 to 8 letters left, I think. And yeah, so that'll get me 300 to 400 stitches that I'll have to do. Why is my yarn in a knot? Okay, my nails are too long. I really need to go get them done now. I can't hold things anymore. There we go. Okay. I have no idea if you guys could even see that on screen, but I just conquered that knot. So, Letters of Fortune. It's going great. I am 600 stitches from finishing another National Park for the National Parks Challenge with Full Coverage Fanatics, which is another Facebook group. And I'm pretty excited about that. I think it'll be my fourth park, which will be fun. And then I need to, there are 2 full coverage pieces this month that I'm supposed to get working on again. So maybe one of those will be the next park. We'll see. So the 2 pieces that I'm referring to, I guess I'll talk about that. The 2 pieces I'm referring to are Thanksgiving and Egyptian Elephant. Both of those pieces got pulled for March's Whip Go, which is yet another Facebook group. Hopefully I remember to link all of these. Yeah, so those were the 2 draws for bingo this month, and yeah, I think that I'm really close to wanting to work on Thanksgiving again anyway. Sorry for the clinking. This is my tripod stand that you guys can see right here. My needles are hitting up against it when I, prep myself. But anyway, yeah, so hopefully I can get some progress on WIPGO this month. I have yet to complete any of my WIPGO goals, and there are now 6, being that this is month 3 and we draw 2 a month. So I'd really, really, really like to get a move on it. I do still feel like I'm making some progress, but it's definitely, I mean, honestly, are we ever doing as much as we would like to be doing? I know I'm not. Yeah, so it's not as much as I was hoping to have done by March, but it's okay. It's all gonna work out. I'm gonna enjoy the process. And I feel like that's what we should be doing. These crafts that take forever, they take time. Just gotta enjoy the process sometimes. Although I will say I'm very, very ready to have this cardigan off my needles as well. Or shrug, whatever. My Shisui shrug. Yeah, I haven't worked on that in a couple days and kind of itching to pick that back up. Can you believe that I lost my mojo Friday, guys? Or y'all? Anyway, yeah, I lost my mojo Friday for most of the day. It was not fun. I didn't want to knit. I didn't want to stitch. And so finally I said, forget it. I'm just going to start a new project. Maybe that'll help. And of course it did. So if you've been watching on Instagram, this past weekend, I was posting a lot. I started Quilting Bee from the Blue Flower. And I'm seriously in love with it. I'm so in love with it already. It's gonna be great. I actually need to go. I thought that I had all my colors for it. There are only 7 colors, so it's small, and I love that too about it. As far as floss, it's small, but I actually had everything picked out, did my color conversion for the colors that I don't have, and then when I was stitching, 2 of the colors are fairly close, and I knew that when I picked them out, but I don't think it's gonna work. I started stitching with them in the center of the bee, and I had to take that second color out because, okay, 2 knits. I also need to pay attention so that I know what I'm supposed to be doing in these patterns. Okay, here we go. Okay, but anyway, so I had to take the second color that I'd stitched with out, and that pattern is charted for for Gentle Arts threads, and I just used the DMC conversion that Janine has on there. So I was going off of that. Some of those colors I had, some of them I didn't, so I was doing conversions for those colors, and like I said, the color that I thought was going to work, it won't, so I will need to go to Joann's and solve that. But I also need to buy frames because I have gifts that still haven't been done, but it's fine. The two people that they're for are in Tennessee, so it'll be okay. I'm not going to see them for maybe a week or two anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. I mean, I'm always rambling, right? But I talked about letters of fortune, talked about the social sock knitting challenge. What should today's topic be? Maybe that's what I should figure out. Oh, I remember the topic now. Do you have a local crafty group near you? Or maybe just friends that y'all, live in the same area and y'all craft. Do you have crafty people near you that you hang out with? If you don't, are you maybe in like a virtual knit night? Yeah, let's make that the topic for today. Who are your crafty peeps? Maybe you come from a crafty family, so you just craft and hang out with them a lot, which I'm super jealous of. Me and my mom craft, which is great. We're close. But there are a couple of other crafters in our family, but I think we're really like the super serious ones about it. Yeah, so let's talk about that in the topics today. And I am going to let you guys go once I knit past the stitch marker. So, or actually, you know what? Let me just finish to the end of my needle because that would be a little easier to show you guys. So here we are. I have done a good bit of this gusset. Yeah, so we got a good bit done. You can see I'm working on decreasing here. Yeah, you can see this line of decreases that I'm doing on each side. Oops, right here. And okay, so of course, right as I'm like trying to finish up and say bye to y'all, it cut me off. So I just am popping in this little clip to say one, sorry for the earthquakes because my arm's super not in shape. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll probably be back tomorrow with a whip update video. So until then, happy crafting, y'all.